Continuing with the law of cosine. So we have triangle ABC. So I know that angle C is 60. I know that little a is 2. And I know that little b is 3. And they want me to solve the triangle, which means that I have to find big A, big B, and lowercase c, little c. So what am I going to start with? First of all, do we understand why this is not the law signs? We do not have a pair. So what do you think we should start with finding? Little, we know little a. We got to find little c. So because I'm trying to find little c, when I set up the law of cosines, I have to start with little c and end it with big C. So it's going to be written as c squared equals the other two sides minus 2 cosine of c. I'm just writing this out. You don't have to write that out, but just for people who are still struggling to remember the law of cosines, that's how you would write it out. Using the law of cosines to find a side is very easy because we don't have to solve. So we're just going to type this whole thing in under a square root. So A is 2, B is 3, minus 2, 2 times 3, cosine 60. And I would just type this whole thing in under a square root, just like that.
Period.
So go ahead, type that in your calculator, see what you get. And then again, we're going to keep everything out 3 decimals for today. So verify my answer because, again, I did this last year. But did anybody else get 2.646?
Period.
Yeah.
You did not? You can bring your calculator. I can help you type it in.
Oh, of course.
Did you square root it already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go at the back.
I'll use my next.
I'll put it back there.
Cosine 60. I don't know if you want to put that in there.
Put what in
Sorry, I'm trying to see. So you got 2 squared plus 3 minus 2.
there? Minus 2.
Oh. Hold on. Yeah, you just have to hit the button to convert it. So if you got the square root of 7, okay, the button above enter has the 2 triangles. Does everybody know that button? It converts it to a decimal. So you should get 2.646.
6, 7.
Okay, so now I'm going to find big A. Now this is what I want you to understand. Even though we have our pair, we have to stick with law of cosines. We have to stay with the law of cosines to the end. What we start with is what we end with. So sticking with the law of cosines, I'm going to find big A, which means I need to rearrange my law of cosines so that I start with little a and I end with big A. So in order to find big A, this is how I'm going to arrange my formula. All right, so let's go ahead and fill in what we know. So I do know little a. Little a is 2. And then little b is 3. And then we figured out little c. Minus 2, 3, cosine A. And again, this is what we don't know. We don't know that. And we did one like this yesterday. We only did one example. But remember, in order to solve for an angle, you need to break this apart into 3 pieces. The first thing I need you to figure out is that, which is easy to do. And then the second thing I need you to find is this. And then the last thing I need you to find is that. So we can't just put the whole thing in our calculator. So take a moment, figure out what the blue bubble equals, the pink bubble, and the gray bubble. All right, so who had those numbers? So I had 4, and then for the second one, I got 16.001. And for the third one, I got 15.876. Who got those 3 numbers? All right, so now what am I going to do?
Subtract it.
Subtract what?
16.
Subtract the 16 from both sides. So go ahead and subtract 16.001 from both sides. So that gives me negative 12.001 equals negative 15.876 cosine of angle A. And now what do I have to do? How do I get rid of that negative 15.876? Divide it. So then that gives me negative 12.001 divided by negative 15.876 equals the cosine of angle A. And again, if you're trying to find an angle, you have to do the inverse. So your last step would be to type this in your calculator. And you don't have to put in the double negatives, but because we know that 2 negatives is going to change to a positive. But go ahead, type that in your calculator. So I got, for the first part, this was my answer. And then I found 40.894 for angle A. So I'm going to put that in, 40.894. So how do I find big B? Do I have to use the law of cosines again? No. To find angle B, we can simply do triangle sum. So for angle B, B will equal 180 minus 60 minus the 40.894. And when you type that in, you should get 79.106. Do you all agree with that answer? Make sure. Do we agree? Sound good? Any questions? Okay. All right, let's go to example 3. Now we have a triangle where we don't know any angles. So we can use the log cosines for side, angle, side, but we can also use it for side, side, side. So if I have D, E, F, and I know little d is 4, little e is 3, little f is 6. So I got to find my 3 angles. So it doesn't matter where we start, but for some reason, oh yeah, I do it in alphabetical order. So I started with D. So if I'm trying to find angle D, that means I have to start it with little d. Little d is 4 squared, and that equals the other 2 sides squared, which is 3 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 3 times 6 cosine of D. No, that's a little messy. Let me fix that. So again, just like the last one, you got to find this number, find this number, and then find this number. And I'm going to give you a couple minutes to try to find D by yourself. When you get it, raise your hand. I'll tell you if I agree. Yep.
Okay, so for the negative, the negative 2, 3, 6 part, my
That's
bad.
okay though, because we ain't doing retakes no more.
Oh,
You got this, you said you got
I
it.
forgot, that's,
Don't worry about it.
anyways, so for the blue part, you don't add the negative part to the blue part, right?
No, just 2 times 3 times 6.
You saying no more period or no more
Yep, that's what I got. Yep, looks good. 36.336. Who had that for angle D? All right, so let's go ahead and solve it out. So I have 16. So 16 equals, and then what's 3 squared plus 6 squared? 45 minus 2 times 3 times 6, which is 36, cosine of angle D. Subtract the 45, that'll give you a negative 29, equals negative 36, cosine of angle D. So angle D is going to equal the inverse cosine of negative 29 over negative 36. Which will become 36.336 degrees. So I found my first angle. So now we got to find E. We have to know 2 angles before we can do triangle sum. Well, you can find E or F, but I'm just going to go in alphabetical order and do E next. So if I'm trying to find E, now I need to start it with little e. Little e is 3. So when I set it up, it will be 3 squared equals the other 2 sides, which is 4 squared and 6 squared, minus 2 times 4 times 6 cosine of angle E. Same as the other ones. Go ahead, solve it out. We're stopping at example 4 today, so one more after this and then we're done. We'll be finished with law of cosines tomorrow. So tomorrow we have our skills check over law of sines. We'll probably finish chapter 8 at the beginning of class Thursday. And I'm passing out your study guide Thursday. So go ahead and solve it out. I'm going to go ahead and freeze my screen. And see if you get the same thing. Or pause the recording. So 9 equals. And then again, after you find E, just raise your hand or thumbs up when you get the answer. I want to give everybody a chance to try and find. Okay, that's fine. I just want to give everybody a chance to find it before I show my answer. And then after you know E, you can find F using triangle sum. All right, go ahead and compare. Anyone else get 26.384 for angle E? So let's go through it real quick. So I figured out 3 squared was 9. 4 squared plus 6 squared is 52. 2 times 4 times 6 is 48. Subtract 52. That's how I got the negative 43. Divide both sides by negative 48. And then you take the inverse cosine of that fraction. Now to find, yes, do you have a question? Yeah. Okay, so now to find big F, because I know 2, I could just do triangle sum. We don't have to do law of cosines 3 times. We only need to do it twice. So that would be 180 minus 36.336 minus 26.384. And I got 117.28. Anyone else get that? And that would be my angle F. Okay, questions?
So we don't care if they're switched around, right? Let's say I'm gonna test off a 6 squared, 4 squared, and then 4 and 6. That wouldn't matter.
Wait, well, which one are you trying to find first? If you put the 6 squared first, that means you're looking for angle F first.
I'm saying for E, because I think I switched them around.
Oh, you put 4 squared equals 6 squared plus 3 squared?
No, I put 3 squared equals 6 squared, yeah, plus 4 squared.
Oh, yeah. So we think about addition. In addition, does order matter? Is 2 plus 3 the same as 3 plus 2?
Yeah.
It's the same. So that doesn't matter.
So you wouldn't care about test?
No, because when I grade it, I'm looking at these 3 answers right here. That's what I'm looking at. All right, last one. We got a word problem, then we'll be finished. So we got a group of friends who are on a camping trip. They decide to go on a hike. There's 1 mile between trail 1 and the campsite. So I'm going to write, so I got a trail 1. And camp. The distance from here to here is 1 mile. And then it says there's 1.5 miles between trail 1 and trail 2. So I'm going to put trail 2 over here. So that would be 1.5 miles. And then lastly, it says there's 2 miles between the camp and Trail 2. So from here to here, there's 2. So does everybody see our triangle? This is my triangle. These are the places. This is Trail 1. This is Trail 2. This is the camp. Yes.
And say we was to just like rank the places you put the, like child 1, child 2. Say we was to write that in a different spot in the triangle. Would that really matter?
Do you have the distance right between them?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's fine. Mhm. So this is the tricky part. And that's why I color coded it. Don't answer it. It's asking me to find the angle that is formed by the 2 trails that lead to the camp. So I want you to tell me, am I looking for the angle closest to my green bubble, my blue bubble, or the pink bubble? Which angle are they asking? Because they only want one. So what would be the angle that is formed by the 2 trails that lead to the camp? So who says it's the blue bubble? Who says it's the green bubble? Who says it's the pink bubble? It's the pink bubble.
Oh. So whatever the camp is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leading to the camp. So this is the angle that I'm trying to find right here. That's what I'm looking for. So because I'm looking for that angle, I need to start with what side? What is the side opposite of that angle? So I need to set up my law of cosines as 1.5 squared equals the other 2 sides squared minus 2. And then I'm just going to call it x. We'll just call this angle x. So I'm going to give you a minute to solve it. Again, just like whenever we're solving for an angle, we got to break it up. You got to figure out that number, figure out that number, figure out that number. So I'm going to work through it for my 7th period. Pause the recording. You got an answer? All right, so let's go ahead, look at your answer compared to mine. Who got that angle? Ooh, sorry, you can't even see it. All right, who got 46.567? All right, we're going to end there. We'll pick up here tomorrow. Don't forget to review